I am a Trumplican. I'm for the way Donald Trump is handling trade. He said that China and NAFTA and the world is taking advantage of the United States. The worst part, though, is that the United States is taking advantage of the farmers and of business in the United States and making us have to stand up almost against our country.
So the issue is Trump, trade, and food. Trump is pushing ahead on trade. And based on my talks with soybean growers at the Minnesota FarmFest 2018, he is listening to his advisors, like Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue. But he needs to listen more. Republican Jim Newberger bashed Trump's national security steel tariffs for allegedly hurting the farmers. And he also blames Klobuchar for supporting them. And unbelievably, the Republican panelist Anderson, who calls herself a Trumpican, accused Trump of taking advantage of farmers and of business in the United States and making us have to stand up almost against the United States. So, more Trump bashing by Republicans as well as Klobuchar and the other Democrats from Tuesday, Richard Painter and Tina Smith, scoring political points against Trump, hoping to help themselves. Newberger even said if Trump can't solve it by harvest, we'll face another 1980s scenario when many farmers lost their farms. Well, I asked an official from the soybean growers what she could ask Trump, and she said she would ask him for trade negotiations. But NAFTA brought 1/10 of the soybeans China did from the United States, and so China is the focus. Here's the solution. Here's the leadership, and I hope the president and Minnesota voters will listen to me. De-link food as a separate track in trade negotiations with China. And Newberger thought this might be a good idea. Both nations could take advantage of the farmers, as Anderson feels America is, both China and the U.S. I don't agree, but I do agree that food should never be used as a weapon. That's how World War II started. Read The Taste of War, written in 2011. I have. Let's agree, as two world powers, that don't need to include food and don't need to include farmers as pawns in a trade shift. Let food be sacred. Let it be a positive thing and a road to trade peace. Farms aren't spigots that can be turned off and on again, as the Russian embargo taught Minnesota farmers.
Klobuchar. Well, Minnesota is in the top 4 ag trading states in the country. And when you look at our customer base, 95% of our potential customers are outside of our borders. So yes, we need trade deals, but they have to be fair trade deals. And I have pushed for our farmers many times in the last decade to open up South Korea when they were trying to put some barriers to trade, to do more to get our beef into Japan. And I am very concerned with the rhetoric and some of the tariffs we're seeing, the retaliatory tariffs right now. And I think the administration needs to go back to the negotiating table to negotiate with allies like Canada and Mexico. Canada's our #1 trading partner out of Minnesota. I recently led a group of senators over to the Canadian embassy, half Democrats, half Republicans, to talk about getting jump-started on NAFTA and just stop this war of words and war of tariffs. Is not good for Minnesota. We want fair deals. We want changes to NAFTA, but we must continue to be able to sell our products overseas.
Jim? Well, thank you. That's a great question to start out with. I'm Jim Newberger. I'm the endorsed candidate for U.S. Senate seat. I'm a state representative from House District 15D, and agriculture is one of the primary economic engines for my district. When it comes to trade, we need to renegotiate a deal immediately. I've been speaking with our farmers. I've been talking to folks all throughout the state for the last year. Right now is the worst time that we could have this happen. Now, Senator Klobuchar, she supported the tariffs on the steel trade. She had an official announcement saying she thought that that was a good deal. But the unintended consequences of what that's doing to the ag industry, all of you are starting to see that and feel that. We need a good, solid plan. We've got to do something about this before harvest. Because as you know, your finance plans are projected in advance. And if we don't do something soon, all of you are potentially facing another 1980s scenario. Minnesota does $33 billion in agricultural sales and industry every year. We have to do something about this before harvest.
All right. Thank you, Jim.